Hi everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you. You can hear the music, really? Um, so I don't know if you listen to the music, but the funny thing of this is that during the whole time that Mateja was here, there was no weddings, nothing, no one. And the day I arrived, there was the first wedding, and today is the second wedding. So no weddings in February while I was not here, and the day I arrive, they start again. So I don't know what is this, but I the music is so loud that even if I change the room, I am in the bathroom's door, um, and it's just besides the door of the corridor. So there are people walking around and having a party. So today it's like that. So let's get used to this. I don't get the message anyway. Um, okay, so the second thing, besides the music, that I hope you don't hear it so it doesn't bother you. It does bother me because it's really loud. So I will try to concentrate and put everything as I can to concentrate in this. And also, I forgot my glasses in my room, so um, I can I cannot read anything that you are writing. So because I'm sitting in the floor and the computer is up there. So let's see what happened. So through our lives, um, we are living in the third dimension, but what we usually have heard is the second dimension and the fourth dimension besides the third one. So let's go now to understand why. The second dimension for us is one of the most important in our lives because it has basically designed the way in which we learned everything in our life. For example, for sure, all of you have read a book, have seen a magazine, have go to school where they teach everything at Blackboard, and also have seen animated designs, cartoons. Okay, so basically, even if we live in the third dimension, everything that we have learned was in the second dimension. Everything that we understood has been uh, has been always from the second dimension point of view. So until we are not grown ups and start to live the reality and our own experiences, we have seen our entire life through the second dimension. And then when we start to ask ourselves if the third dimension is the reality or not, what we start to do is to project the idea that all the things that doesn't have an explanation in the third dimension, like the dreams, like everything that is spiritual, all the concepts that are not based in the laws of physics, all of that, usually we attach that idea to the fourth dimension. It's been now many centuries in which people were trying to describe this fourth dimension where all the unexplainable things happen, like another extension of our reality today. So this conception of the fourth dimension is the one that holds the complete idea of all the realities where we are supposed to go to. Like there are many people that started to create this idea that if we are in the third dimension, we are meant to go into the fourth dimension in terms of evolution, of course, and many people from the spiritual world, they started to call this fourth dimension also the place where the dead people goes, the place where all the people, when you die, you go to that level, which is the fourth dimension. And they started to explain the fourth dimension divided in different planes that we call the astral planes. So we have the lower astral, the medium astral, and the higher astral. But astral is the way in which the people used to call the place where we all go when we die. Before I mean a few centuries and thousands of years, everyone thought that the physical world was this one here and the ethereal world was above in the skies. So that's why they call everything that is beyond the physical aspect like astral, which means star. So the astral planes are the ones that are in the stars. That's how we started to call the fourth dimension like the astral planes, but it's not exactly that. So even if we today can name the fourth dimension as the place where we find the astral planes, we have to know that this is just a name today, because astral is the way in which the old people, the ancient people, used to name all the invisible things. The things that are not attached to the physical world were called those things that are with the stars. That's why they call it the astral. So it's a cultural point of view regarding humans and not something strictly from the fourth dimension. So in order to go deep into what is the fourth dimension, we have to transcend the idea that the fourth dimension is related to the stars. So remember that even if we are going to speak about the astral planes, the idea of people dying and going into the fourth dimension is like this. When we die, we go through the fourth dimension. We enter the fourth dimension. But this doesn't mean that we go to the stars. This is a human point of view from cultures that we started to believe that every person that dies goes into the heavens with the stars. So that's why we call the fourth dimension the astral plane. So the fourth dimension is not a different place from this one. It's something that we know, but even if we know that, we don't know how it exists. We don't know how it works. So the fourth dimension basically is time. So knowing about the fourth dimension being the dimension of time, we have to understand that this dimension is related to the process of things. Not the things, but just the process. Things are objects in the third dimension. So we have the things, the objects in the third dimension, and the process of the things in the fourth dimension. So usually we as humans perceive the time as a line where we are moving through. We are going through a line of time, but it's not like this. So things are not moving through time. Things transform itself through time because of time. So it is the same thing. So this is how we are going to try to understand what is the fourth dimension. Let's go into it. I don't know how to. So remember, we have the first dimension. The first dimension will be projected in the second dimension. The second dimension will be projected in the third dimension. Okay. So you remember that the second dimension, by fractals, it divides itself to create the perspective of the third dimension, the vanishing point. Okay? So this is not describing what is happening. This is just describing the distance. So in the same way as the second dimension uses diffractalization to create the depth of the third dimension, the fourth dimension will use exactly the same fractalization, but from the whole object, the whole thing. Okay? So it will multiply the same object many times inside, within, and many times outside. Okay? Okay. So I will have another cube here. And this cube will be connected to each one of the nodes. Fine? Totally? Okay, like this. But we can do this to keep going outside. Creating another one, another cube. So it can be fractalized to the eternity, forever, constantly, within and outside. We can say, for example, that this cube inside is what we call the spirit. This one here, the soul. And this one, the body. Okay. So now let's try to do something that is very difficult to understand without movement. So, as you see, this is like a being, a body with a soul, with a spirit within. But they all are the same. They are not separated. They are just extensions of each one. When I die, what happened when I die? This one here. So now, what happens when we die? That this one here opens itself through the nodes, expanding itself and taking place in the outside. So as you see, the body is still there. It didn't disappear. It still exists. But the only thing that happened is that an internal part expanded in the outside. Again, the image of the socks. See? Okay. So now let's imagine that each cube has an attribute. The spiritual, which is the core, is the essence. Then the soul is the energy. And then the body is the matter. So when the body dies, the energy expands. dissipates, expands, and the core of the essence expands wider outside the energy. So it's like if this image turns completely the opposite, upside down. So it's like now the body is here, the soul is here, and the spirit is here. And somehow the spirit managed to become again the essence, and the body goes out and take place again as the one covering the whole thing. And they create the same again, a new life. But it doesn't get bigger. It is just the same size. It's only that they go out and they transform. So so what happened here? The essence, the energy, and the matter, they never finish. They're constant. They are the same thing, and they are eternal in the universe. They are always here. The three of them, the three concepts of the existence, they're constantly there. What is the only thing that really changes is that they transform, that they change the position, the shape. That's the only thing that happens, really. Nobody really dies. Everything is really transforming itself. So what happened is that there is no separation between all the things. It's all the same, but transforming itself constantly. So let's go to the first transformation of the essence, the energy, and the matter that we can understand and explain. Okay. So just for you to know, this is only one of the shapes that we can explain in the fourth dimension that we call tesseract. But the tesseract is only a cube in the fourth dimension, because if there would be another if there would be another structure like a tetrahedron, dodecahedron, the name would be different, okay? Because it's just explaining the cube, the tesseract, okay? So this cube can expand this way and create another one bigger and even much more bigger that comes back and take place over the smaller one. Okay, so that would be. So let's go to the first base of how we are created. So now follow this image, that this cube here starts to open itself, getting wider, getting this square the same size as this square, and going out, expanding itself. Do you follow the image? So this one here will project itself in this manner, in this way. So what is this doing? So if we unite all the vertices of these cubes, we will have a sphere. So this is a cell, and this is another cell. So this would be the cell multiplication. So this here in the center would be the chromosomes. So when the chromosome starts to divide, they replicate themselves, creating a new cell. Como cositas así. So what we usually see, like these things like this, is that they divide, they project itself in others, creating a new one. So this is something that is not only happening in the humans. This is happening in the mineral kingdom, in the mineral kingdom, in the vegetal kingdom, and the animal kingdom, in all of them. So what is happening here? That the matter, the thing, is going through a process. And this process is dividing in evolution the whole structure. So it's a process through time. For example, in the minerals, we have a salt cube that replicates in another salt cube, and another one, and they start to multiply until they create a salt mountain. In the vegetals and the animal kingdom, we see it like this. So this is describing the process of transformation of matter, which is through time. So as you see, time is not something separate from space, from the things. The time is basically an aspect of the physical object during the transformation. So imagine that this is something that happens constantly in our life. First, we are two cells, but then we become a fetus, then a baby, then a child, then a teenager, an adult, and we keep changing. But not only as growing up, every day we are changing. Every day, thousands and billions of cells die, and thousands and billions are born again in our body. They are constantly transforming our body. And this means that the time is constantly changing us. Every an amount of time, every, I don't know how much time, the entire cells of our body change completely. The only ones that they are not changing are the neurons, but the rest ones, they all changed. We are not the same body. They are just information replicating itself. So for example, every 6 months to 1 year, mostly, we just become, we become physically a new person. All our cells are new. The only thing that happens is that the cells are replicating information. So the reason why we are similar is because we are transmitting the same information. For example, the cells are saying the same information, but they say it distorted. It's the same way in which we are gossiping normally. Like when we hear something and we say to someone the message, and that someone tells to other person, but it kind of decorate the thing. So it's like an Aries person receiving the message, goes to the point, tells it to a Pisces person. The Pisces person, they create all the information, and then it tells it to the Scorpio person. The Scorpio person put the dark side of the story, so it's more spicy, and it keeps transforming. So it's the same information, but it's being transformed and reinterpreted. So this is how we start to lose exactly the same shape, the same forms, and we start to grow up, to get older, and so on. Okay. So the cells starts to replicate each other through the energy that they get through the oxygen, and the oxygen oxidates the cells. So that's why the information is not the same. So this explanation about the body and how it goes multiplying itself through time, it keeps going when we die. When we die, the cells doesn't disappear. The cells keeps transforming. Some of them replicate for many years after we die, like the hair, like the ankles. But then the other cells become food for insects, for animals, and we start to spread and to become different things. So we keep transforming. The cells keep becoming new ones in different bodies, in different things. The energy never transforms. The body never ends. It keeps transforming. So what really happens here is that the body never disappears. What happens here is that the energy starts to expand in different other cells, in different other cubes. So this feeling that we usually say that we feel when we die, the soul coming out of the body, is exactly that. It's like this tesseract going out of the heart, expanding around the body and becoming wider. So the soul never gets out of the body. The soul expands from the body, and that's why the body expands also. So through dimensions, everything is the same. La materia es la misma. So it doesn't matter if you go complete to the ground, buried, or you get incinerated into ashes. It doesn't matter. It's the same, because the matter is the same. It doesn't matter if it goes to be cremated or it goes under the ground. The matter is the same. Okay? There are only ways to expand the matter. So now, if the soul, the energy, expands from the heart, from within to the outside when we die, what is happening here is that everything that was compressed inside comes into the outside, being expanded. So what this means, that the reality that will be projected in the outside, in the fourth dimension, will be directly in the same proportion of the one that I had within. So basically this means that in the moment we expand into the fourth dimension, the fourth dimension takes the shapes of what we had within. So if we are very in a low vibration, we expand in a very low vibration. If we are in a high vibration, we expand in a positive vibration. So if I believe in hell, I will expand in hell. If I believe in heaven, I will expand in heaven. If I believe in Buddhism, I will expand in Buddha. If I believe in Christ, I will expand in Christ. If I believe in nothing, I will expand in nothing. Depending on the state of vibration that I have throughout my life, I will project this reality according to my life. In the same way as we have here our point of view of the fourth dimension projecting out there, in the fourth dimension there are also beings that only live through time. So they experience time in the same way as we experience the matter in the space. So those beings can mold themselves according to the process. So they can decide whether it is past or future, but they cannot be the matter. We can say that we can handle and mold the matter, but we cannot mold the time. And the beings in the fourth dimension, they can mold the time, but they cannot mold and handle the matter. So, for example, the people that is really attached to the matter, what they do is to project when they die, when the cell says stop, we need to expand. When the cell says we need to expand, they project the matter they are living and they are attached to. So because of this, they project their lives again. And that's what we call a ghost. Okay? The ghosts are these people that projected themselves attached to their lives. So because in the fourth dimension, there is no time as we know it, the time can be eternity. But for those people, their eternity is weird. So for them, only happened maybe 1 week, not 1,000 years. And that's a ghost. So this is what separates the lower astral, the medium astral, and the high astral. These three levels are not related to the stars, as its name is saying, is related to the state of vibration of the people that expand. Okay. So, of course, that someone from the third dimension can expand into the fourth dimension, and of course, someone from the fourth dimension can contract towards the third dimension, and that's what we call to be born. So the thing that I want for you to understand is that it's all the same. It's all about process of only one thing. So they are not separating and going away. They just do this, transform itself in different shapes. So, for example, a being from the fourth dimension can see all the possibilities of Matthias, of myself. It can see many options since I was born till I will die. All the different options are there, but they cannot touch Matthias. It's only me who can touch Matthias, but now I cannot touch my past. I cannot touch the time. So that's the two visions. Remember, spirit, soul, and body. how are they connected one another? By these two lines. So the way in which we are connected is through these nodes that expand one another. What makes you remember these nodes? Chakras. These nodes are basically chakras, but they are organized in a different way. What happens if these chakras are not connected? So all the structure starts to be unbalanced. There's no connection, there's imbalance. So these nodes are opened to anything because they are not aligned. This is what explains why from the fourth dimension there are beings that live through the energy of others, that nourish themselves, and also possessions. Many of the beings that we know from the fourth dimension are called demons, energetical parasites, angels too. And all these beings enter our reality using our energy if we are not in balance. This is why there's a lot of people that says don't open portals or are afraid of the energetical portals, because they say don't open portals because anything can get in those portals. And the only reason why something wrong can get inside these portals is exactly if someone that opens this portal is afraid. If instead of being unbalanced, I am in balance, I can manifest my dreams. Fourth dimension is the one that allows me to manifest. If I am in balance, I can go inside the fourth dimension. I can see all the possibilities of time and contract one of those possibilities to manifest it in the third dimension. Because of time. And the only way in which I can protect myself from all these beings is by being coherent in between what I think, what I feel, what I do. And there we have the nodes of this tesseract. And this is the Atlantean Cube, the one that allows yourself to get into the possibilities of time, to manifest it into the space. And above all, to get inside the fourth dimension, no fear. So just one last thing. Don't jump into the fifth dimension, because the only way to go into the fifth dimension is through the integration of the fourth and the third. Remember, dimensions are not places, are not how do you say this? Are not floors of a building. So you cannot get inside the fifth dimension jumping into the window of the fifth floor. You need to integrate the third one and the fourth one in order to reconnect, because the connection between the third one and the fourth one is the fifth one. The only way you can make the connection of the fifth one is through the other two. So remember, and that's what we are going to see tomorrow. Okay? And to the questions, how do I do it? How can I manifest from the fourth dimension into the third one? Remember, each one of you has your own tesseract. Each one of you have its own way. Some of you will do it through music. Some of you will do it through science. Some of you will do it through art. You have to figure out the way in which you will do it is by being centered in yourself. So there is no method for everyone to do this. The only way to that is the being. So you just have to be. And that's it. The vibration for today is Li. Li. The statement for today is, I am love in everyone. The code for today is grow. Connected with experimentation and the earth summer, the growth is the learning process of trial and error that is projected on the first 4 septennials of life. On the first septennial, from the first year till the 7th year of life, it is the physical body motor skills. The second septennial of growth is the emotional one that goes from the 8th till the 14th year of life. The third one will develop the mind and will finish by shaping the way we see the world from the years 15 till the 21. This way, the fourth septennial from the 22 till 28 years of life will take place the unification and balance process of the 3 bodies, mental, emotional, and physical. Sit comfortable, close your eyes, and concentrate in your breathing. I take a deep breath and become aware of the body I find myself in, and the space, the room, the house. I use my imagination to expand the walls of the room, the floor, the roof. Expand it all around in every direction, letting myself floating in the center, levitating in the void. I take a deep breath and become aware of how I find myself here and now, in this body, in this moment. I take a deep breath and I imagine how my own being projects itself towards the inside and the outside. I imagine that inside of me there is a tinier version of myself, smaller version that starts to multiply towards the inside with another one smaller, another one even smaller, and so on until they disappear in the core of my heart. Towards the eternity. And I imagine now a version of myself a bit bigger than me, holding me inside, and another one holding us both, expanding another one, bigger, inside another one, even bigger, multiplying for the entire infinite towards the eternity of the cosmos. I recognize that towards the inside I find every version of what I have been in the past, and towards the outside all the versions of who I may become in the future. I am here and now, the physical version of myself in this third dimension, in this reality, as all the rest, all the other versions from the past and the future are the ones living in the fourth dimension. I take a look within, recognizing that each one of these versions is even younger, going towards the past, looking into each one of the processes I've been through, even before I was gestated, when I was a spirit, and before, in other lives, in other worlds and realities. All of them versions of myself, of my own history. Take a deep breath, and I take a look to the future, outside, expanded to the cosmos, towards the versions of myself that I had yet to become in this life, in other lives, in other worlds, in the entire universe. I am all of them, and all of them connect to me through the fractal of my heart. And I resound, connecting them all in harmony, uniting my past, present, and future. I am love in everyone. I am love in everyone. I am love in everyone. I believe, and this that I believe is what I create. I extend my arms to that version of myself in which I believe, in which I intend to become, and I bring it to my heart in order to be. I believe. take a deep breath and expand this awareness, this consciousness, here and now, coming back slowly. Thank you everybody for being here as always, and see you tomorrow at the same time.